So here it is, folks. Here it bloody is. Of course, one game to rule them all. One game that's going to set the world on fire. That's right. As four clubs remain in battle to meet in a final of the biggest game in club football. Who, of course, will make it to the Champions League final? Will it be Bayern, Real Madrid, Dortmund, or PSG? Two of them will make it. Two of them won't. We're getting into it next. That's right, folks. Once again, another picture video. Today we're taking a look at the semi-finals, second legs, of course, as four juggernauts of European football lock horns for two spots, of course, at Wembley. That's right. Who will be there? We'll get into it, all of it in a second, of course. Big shout out once again to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash the old subscribe, boys and girls. What a tasty first legs, of course, it was last time around with, of course, advantage Dortmund and, of course, advantage Bayern after those first legs, you would say. Actually, advantage Real Madrid. Yes, indeed. Of course, we'll get into those in a second. Big shout out once again to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash the old subscribe. So these are the results as you see it. Of course, it is Bayern took on Real Madrid at the Allianz Arena this past week. And of course, it was a thrilling game. 2-2 it was in the end, of course. Not Rovers, what am I talking about? Rovers would can't wipe the shoes of these guys. Of course, Real Madrid coming back late into this game to get something out of it and, of course, put one tippy toe into that final. But they've got to do it all again, of course, over at the Bernabeu. We'll get to that in a minute. I went with a 2-2 draw. I went with a 2-1 win for Bayern. It was a 2-2 draw in the end. Meanwhile, Dortmund, wow, could they be in the final, of course? 1-0 win for them over PSG at Signal Iduna Park. I went with a 2-2 draw on that one. Close it was. And again, could be a spicy second leg coming into this one. So a big week up ahead over in European football. But what about the, of course, prediction league? We'll have a look at it. It is, of course, Pim predict 20 points for him. Wow. Hans Wurst picked up 11 this past week. I only got 2, which is a bit of a joke. But of course, I'm not really, I don't give two shits right now because we're on the back end of this one. I ain't going to win it. Nico's ET, though, could win it. 47 also win it right now as those two duke it out. But Costas K says, hold my beer. With 2 rounds left, the second leg, and of course the final. Could he be the one to sneak in there and take the glory, of course? Well, we'll find out about that another time. Of course, right now we are looking forward to those semi-final second legs. We're going to jump in the deep end right here, right now, of course, as they come thick and fast with PSG taking on Dortmund tomorrow, of course. And this one, to be honest with you, is the game I'm looking forward to the most because Dortmund, last time around, were absolutely fucking fantastic. I thought they played PSG off the park. It was a thrilling game, and of course they are very much in this one. If they can manage a draw, guess what? They will be in that final at Wembley. But that's, of course, a tough one to call at the moment, of course, as these two sides lock horns at the Parc des Princes. With Daniel Osato, your referee, Luis Enrique in one dugout, Edin Terzic in the other. They have played each other 7 times, these two clubs, 2 wins apiece and 3 draws. PSG rocking a 2-0 win, their biggest. That will do it for them. 7 goals scored in those 7 games, 1 goal a game on average. Dortmund's, of course, biggest victory was, in fact, a 1-0 win, just like what we witnessed. 5 goals scored in those 7 games, 0.71 goals a game on average. PSG, though, rocking a 58% form book at the moment. Back-to-back games without a win. That could be a major boost for Dortmund mentally. However, they also coming into some pretty good form, 75% form for them right now. Back-to-back wins, of course. Now, the previous match between these two sides was that 1-0 win in Dortmund. The last time that these two sides did play each other was this season. It was way back at PSG, the Parc des Princes, back in September. It was a 2-0 for PSG in the group stages of this competition. The last time that these two sides played in France in the knockouts was the round of 16 back in 2020. Also PSG rocking a 2-0 win. In fact, over the last 3 encounters that these two sides have played each other at Paris, Dortmund have yet to win. In fact, they've yet to score against them. However, a 0-0 draw would be enough. PSG's last match was this match, of course, so they haven't played, according to my data anyway, they have not played anybody since that defeat to Dortmund. Meanwhile, Dortmund do come into this on the back of a 5-1 demolition job over Augsburg, so they're on a bit of a momentum kick right now, and of course, hopefully, for their sake, they can get over the line on this one. 20-9 on is your PSG for victory here, of course. Any victory would put this game into a penalty shootout, or at least drag it to extra time. 7-2 is the draw, 6-1 is your away win. That is Dortmund. I've got a gut feeling that Dortmund are going to go through here. It's not what I would have predicted way back when. I did predict PSG to get to a final and possibly take on Bayern way back when. But of course, ever since I made that video, scenarios has changed dramatically. I do think Dortmund are going to squeak by here. And I'm going to go with a 17% vote. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. That would do it for them. That would do it. And of course, if Dortmund were to get in front here with a 1-0 win, it puts all the pressure on PSG, and you just don't know. The wheels might completely come off, and they don't do it at all. But a draw will be enough for Dortmund to go through. Meanwhile, we hop over to Spain, of course, and that match will be on Wednesday, the 8th of May. It's Real Madrid hosting Bayern, of course. A bit of a tasty one, this one, at the Bernabeu. Played the 17 times, these two sides, and the responsibility will be on Szymon Maricic, the Polish referee. We got Carlo Ancelotti in one dugout. We got Thomas Tuchel, and it looks like he's going to be leaving. Of course, we know that for a long time as Bayern coach, and of course, uncertainty surrounds who will be the successor there. But again, played each other 17 times, 9 wins for Real Madrid, 5 wins for Bayern, 3 draws, of course. Just after the final whistle of that first leg, Thomas Müller said this is not the scoreline they were hoping. It does make it much more difficult in that second leg, but they're going to give it their all. 4-0 win was the biggest for Real Madrid when they've taken on Bayern, scoring 33 goals in those 17 games, 1.94 goals a game. Bayern's biggest win was a 3-1 win, 25 goals scored in those 17 matches against Real Madrid, 1.47 goals a game on average. They do come into this on back-to-back matches without a win, 75% form for them over the grand scheme of things. Meanwhile, Real Madrid did confirm their title this past weekend over in La Liga, and they are champions, 92% form for them right now, and they haven't lost in the last 19 games. Bayern, though, haven't lost in the last 6 matches, which is I don't understand. That's a bad stat right there, because they just lost to Stuttgart. Of course, this past weekend they did lose, 3-1 loss there. In fact, the last victory for Bayern was back in the 27th of April when they picked up a 2-1 win over Frankie. Real Madrid do come into this on the back of a 3-0 win over Cadiz, and the last time that these two sides did play each other in Spain, it was in the Champions League. It was in the semi-final stage back in May 2018, and it was a 2-2 draw. A repeat of that would put Bayern through to the final, of course. Quick look at the odds for this one. Then is Real Madrid are 2017 on, favoured for the victory here, 3-1. Of course, was the draw. 14-5. It is 0 away. I mean, I did say a draw would be good enough for Bayern. I'm wrong there, completely wrong, because it is level pegging in this one. I really hoped there would be a Bayern in the final here, but realistically, I don't think that's going to be the case as it stands. I'd love to be surprised, I really would, but I think at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid just coming off the back of a successful La Liga campaign, I think they're going to be too strong for this. I do expect a classic game. I'm going to go for the popular vote. 32% have gone with this vote. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Real Madrid. And I'm going to play the booster on that one because I think it is pretty much a dead cert, whereas my Dortmund one is a bit of a gamble. But either way, whatever happens, whenever 2 of these 4 clubs make it to a final, we have a tasty final on our hands. I, for one, as a neutral-ish, would rather have not Madrid in there, and I'd rather have a Bundesliga final. I think that would be a great spectacle for the Bundesliga. It'd be a great spectacle for football itself, because then you can, I know Bayern are a bit of a force in Germany, but realistic, I really would love Dortmund to win this. I really would. It will show you that you don't need the oil money, you don't need a humongous legacy like Real Madrid, you don't need to be a powerhouse financial. I know Dortmund are huge in Germany, but Bayern are supreme in Germany, and they just had a really bad season. Back the underdog. That's my hope, but it is going to be a very tall order for them to make it past not only PSG but also what would likely be a Real Madrid in the final, who just love this competition, and they'll continue to dominate in years to come. That's my pick, guys, but we'll be back next time for, of course, the final. Who will come out on top? We'll get into all of it, and that, of course, will be in another video. But until then, we are done.